Picture this. You walk into an Apple store, hand over a neat $600, and walk out with a brand new MacBook in a flashy new color. Sounds like pure fiction, right? Well, hold on to your wallets, because this fantasy is reportedly becoming reality very soon. Specifically on March 4th, Apple is getting ready to drop their most affordable laptop in years. A budget Mac aimed squarely at students and first-time buyers. But as your resident tech friend, I have to give it to you straight. Apple does not just casually slice their prices in half out of the goodness of their hearts. To hit that juicy $599 price tag, they had to make some serious cuts. And while some of these compromises make total sense, others might be massive deal breakers that will have you running straight back to the MacBook Air. So grab a snack, settle in, and let us break down the good, the bad, and the downright ugly of the new budget MacBook. And hey, if you love staying ahead of the tech curve without the boring jargon, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel more than you know. All right, let us set the stage here. For the longest time, Apple's laptop lineup has felt like an exclusive club with a very steep cover charge. If you just needed a simple laptop for writing essays and browsing the web, your only cheap options were clunky Windows machines or Chromebooks that sound like jet engines when you open 3 tabs. Apple knows they're missing out on the entry-level market. They want to hook users early. Get a student on a Mac today, and they will probably buy an iPhone tomorrow. It is the classic Apple ecosystem trap. So, how do they make a MacBook cheap without completely ruining the premium vibe? The answer is actually incredibly clever. They're giving it an iPhone brain. According to the latest leaks from an internal macOS debug kit, this new machine will not be using the famous M-series chips we see in the rest of the Mac family. Instead, it is going to be powered by the A18 Pro. Yes, the exact same processor sitting inside the iPhone 16 Pro. Now, I know what you were thinking. A phone chip inside a laptop sounds like a terrible downgrade. But wait a second. Apple's mobile silicon is practically alien technology at this point. The A18 Pro is an absolute beast. In fact, its performance is hovering right around the level of the original M1 chip. For everyday tasks like crushing emails, typing documents, and even light video editing, this chip is going to fly. Plus, because it is strictly designed for a tiny phone battery, putting it inside a laptop chassis means the battery life is going to be absolutely legendary. You might only need to charge this thing once a week. Also, using a chip they're already mass-producing saves Apple a ton of money, which is exactly how we get to that $599 price point. But enough about the inside. Let's talk about what this thing is actually going to look like. If you're tired of the endless sea of space-gray laptops at your local coffee shop, you're going to love this. Rumor has it, this new MacBook is throwing it all the way back to the early 2000s iBook era. We are talking bright, bold, unapologetic colors. Yellow, green, blue, and pink. It is going to look approachable, fun, and totally different from the serious Pro machines. The screen size is also shifting. It is reportedly coming in at 12.9 inches, making it slightly smaller and more portable than the MacBook Air. Think of it like a resurrection of the beloved 12-inch MacBook. But here is where we need to start talking about the bad news. To get that price down, the display is taking a hit. First off, the peak brightness is apparently dropping below 500 nits. If you're typing away in a dimly lit dorm room, you probably will not even notice. But if you like to work outside in the sun, yeah, you're going to be squinting at a very dark screen. On top of that, Apple is reportedly stripping away True Tone. True Tone is that invisible feature that subtly warms up the color of your screen to match the lighting in your room. It is one of those things you do not realize you love until it is gone. Is it a tragedy? No, but it is a harsh reminder that you bought the cheap model. Next up on the chopping block, storage. The base model for schools might literally start at 128 gigabytes. For general consumers, it will likely start at 256 gigs, with a 512 gig option max. 128 gigs in today's world sounds like a cruel joke, but honestly, kids today live entirely in the cloud. They do not store massive 4K video files locally. However, the leak also points to slower SSD speeds overall. Do you remember the massive controversy when the base M2 MacBook Air had slower storage? Prepare yourself for part 2 of that drama. Apple is also pinching pennies on the wireless tech. Instead of using their custom internal Wi-Fi chips, they're supposedly outsourcing to MediaTek. This likely means we are getting Wi-Fi 6 instead of the ultra-fast Wi-Fi 7. Will the average student care? Absolutely not. The Wi-Fi at their school is probably bottlenecked anyway. All right, it is time to talk about the one rumor that actually made me physically cringe. The ultimate deal breaker. According to the leaks, this budget MacBook might not have a backlit keyboard. Let that sink in for a second. It feels like we were going back to 2010. Imagine you are on a late-night flight, the cabin is dark, and you are desperately trying to finish an assignment. You look down, and you cannot see a single key. You're just blindly mashing plastic in the dark. For a lot of people, myself included, this is an absolute deal breaker. Backlit keyboards are a basic human right in a laptop world at this point. By removing this, Apple is deliberately making the experience just annoying enough that you might say, forget it, I will just spend the extra money for the MacBook Air. It is the classic Apple upsell strategy, and it works flawlessly. Oh, and the cherry on top? No fast charging. So when your battery finally does die, you're going to be tethered to the wall for a good long while. So what does that leave us? March 4th is just around the corner. Interestingly, Apple is not even doing a big flashy live stream for this. They are just dropping press releases and inviting journalists for hands-on sessions. That tells you exactly how they view this product. It is a calculated utility device. If this truly lands at $599, it is going to sell millions. It will absolutely obliterate the premium Chromebook market. Yes, the lack of a glowing keyboard hurts. Yes, the dimmer screen is a bummer. But a brand new macOS experience with insane iPhone-level battery life in a fun pink or yellow shell for under $600. That is a massive win for students and families on a tight budget. But I want to know what you guys think. Is the lack of a backlit keyboard a total deal breaker for you? Or is $599 cheap enough to make you look past the compromises? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let us argue about it. And if you made it this far and want to keep getting the honest truth about tech, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one.